And we are live. I'm Sockdology,
I'm Bella.
and we'll be casting today for the BGC Overwatch game. It looks like we're loading in just about right now. Loading into Ilios here with bands as Lucio and Cass, I believe.
Yes, it's a very exciting game. We expect it to be a close match. I know the Lucio ban in particular, just to hop right into it. Lucio is very prevalent on this map. I'm excited to see what kind of more of our off-meta comps will be.
Definitely splits things up. It'll be curious to see how we go about with the speed boost. Probably a lot of Juno, but we could see other things as well. Maybe something just a little slower to kind of work around not having that speed boost character. Also as well, this is BGC Overwatch versus the Carnegie Mellon Catboys.
Yes, the Catboys.
Their B team.
Yes.
Quite the name.
Quite the name. Very lovely. I wish we could have a name as cool as that.
Unlucky.
Unlucky.
Yes. All right. Looks like spawn's opening soon. We'll be able to see if this is what we actually end up rolling out on it. Looking like it, in which case we are pulling out the cat for OSU.
Yeah. The new character, some people think he's busted, but some
people.
Opinions.
Looking like Carnegie Mellon definitely operating with this Juno speed boost. Going to try and get the ram in for a more thorough engage. BGC kind of slowing it down a little bit, but definitely able to get in there with Zarya and Vendetta as that sort of duo.
Yes. Tracer coming up, just battling, poking it out.
Yeah, sort of a slow start. We're just giving angles. First cap goes for Carnegie Mellon, but
Vendetta
now
going in, hitting their whole team.
Big
Wuyong
slices. Oh my
and
goodness.
Hanzo dead. Can Vendetta live? She lives.
Vendetta living after getting 2 here is big. Followed up by the kill from Niner means that this point is pretty much given to OSU. We do lose a little bit of space for the BGC team with about 20 some odd percent, probably about 25 given up to Carnegie Mellon, but a very good retest.
And we see a comp swap here from Carnegie Mellon as well.
We sure do. Reaper and Emery.
It's very interesting, playing more for the brawl.
Definitely, that Reaper will help the Ramatra stay in here. Emery's still giving a lot of good poke value, but the real question is, do they live that Vendetta engage with the bubble? And that's something, it's a hard ask these days, but it's something we'll have to see. Vendetta going in.
Vendetta going in, getting the Emre right off the bat.
And I mean, Vendetta with these bubbles just gets so much free ground to do what she wants. A ton of damage and just cannot be killed.
It's very tough. Wow. Reaper dying once again. That is a huge stagger for OSU. Vendetta still going in, getting bubbled.
Vendetta does go down here, but the follow-up from Terabyte, as well as just like the general pressure from BGC, cleans up the tank here, and that's really going to slow things down for Carnegie Mellon.
This is a scrappy fight. 4 for Carnegie, 3 for OSU.
Definitely, if they can slow it down a little bit. Suzu's also used here. Ooh.
Overclock coming out immediately, getting killed by the Wuyong.
Big value from that Wuyong. Zarya playing her life, but not really too much to go on there. There is the flip eventually. Losing that Vendetta early really punishes BGC's comp just with how much they have to play around her engages.
Yes. We see some ults coming up as well. See, maybe excited for a Rush or a Vendetta ult.
A Rush is a very good ult here to use like early, gives your team some space, some movement speed, lets them build some of their ults. Especially if it forces something from the other team, they can then use to finish things out with
Rush
this like Vendetta ult. Vendetta ult following up immediately, flying over. Doesn't get anything though.
Going in, going on the Wuyong. Young able to get out.
Ooh, JJ dropping very low, barely gets out alive there for a sec. Going back in now with this bubble.
Kenator getting homie, killing him in return. Seems like maybe a suicidal cat on.
Oh, that
JJ
cat.
getting the Reaper. Emre trading. But
and that's a big trade, though. A lot of ults here coming up, or like already here, with one more coming up for Carnegie Mellon. Them with that, plus that stagger onto the Vendetta, means that if they move fast here, they can really catch BGC off guard.
They can, especially with OSU only having Grav.
Terabyte's going to have to get really big value out of this grab to try and slow down the amount of pressure that Carnegie Mellon has here with their ultimates.
It could be final fight. Oh, Nico getting the Soj right off the bat.
Niner dying early here does feel bad. Grav needs to be used pretty soon. We're running out of time. But the point is also ticking away. I think they're willing to give this up. Yeah, losing JJ as well. They're going to give up the point here and try and smack their heads into 5 ultimates.
5 ultimates is a very hard thing to contest.
That's a heavy ask.
Especially with just Grav. It's not looking like too good odds for OSU, but
Never count them out.
never count them out. We'll see. We see JJ dropping to half. Niners sliding up top.
BGC
Wuyong
getting
ult
really
coming
pressured
out.
on this walkout. Everybody running
Reaper
so
ult,
low.
Emre ult. We do get a Grav. There's a scrappy fight on point. Juno ult now coming out from CMU.
Yeah.
Forsyth
I mean-
falling, Homie, Terra.
5 ults is 5 ults. There's not too much to do about that. It was a strong fight there, but losing out on some of those early times where JJ's getting picked off here. It's a very feast or famine sort of play style. We're getting a lot of value going in, killing 2, but if we fall, especially on the later end of that fight, then Carnegie Mellon is able to kind of come back and really bring full force into a comp that doesn't have one of their strongest pieces.
Especially. And OSU, they're not looking too hot with the alt usage, using 3 alts right as they got it.
Yeah,
Maybe not
definitely
quite necessary, but
working a bit on their alt economy, kind of planning out what they want to do is something that they've been working hard on, and we're definitely seeing better progress, but some of it will just take time.
that's right. We see same comps, not really swap. Oh, actually, we get an Ashe
Yeah,
swap
Symmetra into
from
Ashe
CMU.
here. Looking otherwise pretty much the same for BGC Overwatch. They're going to have to deal with this really slow, really pokey comp coming out from Carnegie Mellon. They can feel really comfy playing very slow here, and JJ getting
JJ
picked off.
falling to it right away. That Ashe shooting at the cat. Assumedly just getting some alt charge.
Yeah, the amount of slow, consistent pressure coming out from Carnegie Mellon here is really hard to match by a team.
Terabyte falling, that is a huge stagger.
Yeah, and I mean, that's BGC having to back out, having to give this space, give this point charge. They really need to just come back as 5, find a way around not having the speed for the engage, and get their vendetta bubbled and deep into the enemy team.
Right. For sure. And we do see them doing exactly that, grouping up.
Grouping up, especially this Zarya Vendetta combo here, is going to be crucial. JJ going
getting
in
bubbled,
so low
already half
HP.
health,
Bubbles coming out and
falling
JJ
again.
falls.
And that's probably another regroup from OSU.
Almost certainly. JJ, the Vendetta here is just so integral for like how this composition wants to play. The late pick on Niner as well as Homie Baba also just means that they need to fully group, get back in spawn, pull themselves together, and start making real 5v5 engages.
Right. We have not seen one yet. It's about 50%. It looks like they're coming up on an Emre ult as well, but we're coming up on Overclock on OSU's side, so fairly even.
Yeah, Overclock could be the game changer here, giving
Oh, Homie falling to some Emre poke.
so much poke here. BGC needs a lot of diligence
Oh,
to
Emre
lock
falling
in.
in turn. It looks like they're even. Definitely possible.
If BGC can regroup a little bit, get this engage with the Vendetta and get some real value here, going after the Wuyong.
Wuyong dead. Now going on to Juno. Juno dead.
And that's what you want to
Ashe
see from the
falling.
Vendetta. That's the kind of aggression you really need, where you have the team follow up as well. A lot of the times there's just a little bit of like a mismatch between the really aggressive side of BGC and the really passive side of their backline. If they can kind of operate together like how they did then that fight, they can really make this much closer than the first half of this particular segment.
For sure. And now we see some ults coming up. Excited to see what their plan is.
They'll need to cycle ults pretty well. Carnegie Mellon looking to kind of mag dump
Niner
5
falling
again.
just to poke.
Niner
JJ
dying early
then
there.
falling to the Bob. Oh, Bob clearing OSU as OSU has to back up.
Yeah. And with 3% left, OSU might get a touch, but I don't think you can ask for too much more than that. Forsyth going down as well here, and yeah.
We do swap to ball to touch. Niner getting Ash. Oh,
The double ults from DPS here is kind of the only chance that we're going to get to turn. JJ falling, Niner as well, though, and that does look like it for the map.
yes, that is a CMU map 1.
Sure is. Signs of life for sure from BGC, but playing a comp that requires a couple more moving pieces that I don't think they could really find quite the value that they were hoping for out of it.
Right.
It'll be interesting to see if bringing that Lucio back into the equation, something that I think they were definitely missing, well, a little bit of speed to kind of bring both sides of that comp together. Having Lucio back might definitely help BGC sort of bring themselves back into this game.
Yes, for sure. It will enable them to play faster, to play more how they want to play instead of having to run into such a pokey comp.
Yeah.
For sure.
Yeah, I think the Lucio ban especially allowed Carnegie Mellon to capitalize off of playing a much slower, much pokier comp and really just shoot at people who can't go cover to cover as well with those speed boosts.
Yes.
Without that now, we could be definitely seeing potentially a different comp coming out from either team and different kind of play styles with that. But if they want to play something slower, then they definitely need to look to keep banning those like enabling characters to let BGC get in.
Yes, for sure. I think it is definitely winnable for OSU.
Yeah, anyone's game. The first map, as I said, kind of signs of life, but
Yes.
nothing the strongest out of the BGC roster here, but I think some of that really was the bans, and I think now with Lucio unable to be banned again, that should open the team up a little bit to kind of a faster, more aggressive playstyle that I think they want to work on between the Vendetta and the Zarya.
Yes, I agree. I think we could see possibly a Vendetta or Zarya ban here, especially depending on what map we're choosing.
Yeah. All of those factors, yeah, definitely can play into things, and it might be nice to see a bit of compositional like difference coming out from some of these teams, especially from BGC. They've proved that they are competent on this Zarya Vendetta comp, but it might be time to kind of switch things up. Sometimes these comps that you practice don't really work out, and that's why you have a couple of the other options for that and with the bans. So I'm definitely curious to see sort of
I am as well.
what both teams go for in terms of bans. The map will also depend on it too. Slower, kind of longer maps, something like Midtown, Shambali, things like that, will definitely favor these like really poke-heavy rosters.
For sure.
So it'll be interesting to see how these teams navigate that.
I agree. Awesome. I think while we wait for our map, maybe we could possibly get a break here. Depends on how fast they're moving.
Alrighty, and we are back.
We are back. We have a Havana map. Definitely more pokey.
One of the
Something.
longest range sightline maps in the game at the moment.
But we do also see some subs coming out.
It's looking like OSU is subbing both their tank player as well as their main support, as it appears. CMU is also looking to sub a player out.
Yes, it looks like they've put 0 in. I'm unsure what they played, but we'll find out when we load into the map.
That we will. On top of that, bans have come out with OSU banning Ramatra for this map. Sort of a good mix of poke and brawl tank. Definitely a fair ban. CMU, after seeing JJ's capabilities on this Vendetta rather, have looked to ban that. So that'll definitely open BGC's comp options to something that they haven't already run.
For sure. Maybe something pokier. I know Starry is our poke tank. He specializes in like a Sig Domina.
Yeah, and I mean, I think either of those work really well. Domina's been really kind of popping off in the meta lately. She's definitely seen her play. Sigma also is a very common pick on a map like this. So I'm excited to see something a little slower out of OSU. I think that might be good for them. It'll also let them kind of showcase some of the big aimers on the roster. Niner, I know, has a lot of capability and skill on that hit scan. Wasn't really finding a lot of the value that I think he was really looking for on some of those engages. So something a little slower where he's not as dependent on some of his front line might end up helping him a lot.
Yes, I think so as well. We did see Niner get a few good picks that last
For sure.
map,
And
so-
I think a map like this will really let him thrive, and I'm excited to see sort of what he brings.
Here we are going in.
Absolute Zero coming in for another player on Carnegie Mellon for DPS, so might end up being an even pokier sort of setup, maybe a sniper-based character. Could just be a second hit scan, could just be that's who they feel has better luck on this map.
For sure. Can see.
We'll see the heroes soon. We'll be able to tell as well which team is defending. It looks like CMU will be defending on this, so their roster will be more finalized. OSU can kind of make that swap at the last second. But yeah, we're definitely seeing early signs of snipers, Sigmas.
Very pokey.
Yeah.
Something that we know CMU can do well, but we haven't seen from OSU yet. So
Yeah, I'm excited to see the kind of the switch up. It's sort of the, if something didn't work out, let's try and switch it up, make something different happen. I'm definitely interested in seeing this. And with the Soj Hanzo, there's going to be a lot of pressure. If they can withstand the Genji taking some of these off angles and trying to play for some of these fights, a little more of that sort of poke pressure and chance to get like headshot kills, I think could be really valuable for them.
We are walking out. We have been told there is an issue with the game audio. You won't be able to hear it for a little bit. Normally there is sound.
Work in progress.
A little bit of a work in progress. Just see some poke coming out. OSU taking cart. Their enemy Sig shield dropping.
Enemy Sig staying on the high ground too. A little unconventional for this sort of thing. You tend to see them kind of hug that corner. Dropping now, taking the headshot as well from JJ. Definitely a dangerous spot for them to be in. The Sig falls early here.
We see OSU capitalizing, pushing up.
This sort of aggression, provided that they can keep their Sigma alive here, yeah, really puts them in a point position to take this first segment entirely, unless the rest of CMU backs off heavily right now.
Unfortunately, Forsyth has also fallen, so OSU being down their flex support. Oh, and Niner means OSU might have to back up here.
OSU definitely needs to play safe. The Curie can come back pretty quickly, but being down one of your main DPS for this puts you in a little bit of a bad situation if you're part of BGC.
Yes.
Wuyong flying in here pretty low.
Ooh, Starry just taking too much poke, getting pushed out.
And
Oh,
with Forsyth down again, that
turn.
looks like this fight done. Really good progress here and really good like early value from BGC. The question is now just how far can we get off of another play like this? We have the Dragon. We're coming up on Nano and the Sigma ult as well. All of these give really strong abilities to kind of get in and like force out some of these resources if Starry can live.
We do also see Homie on the Ana already having Nano.
Yeah, Nano is kind of a weird ult with this comp because you can't get quite as much value as you would on something like a Genji. That being said, definitely really valuable, especially once Sig kind of runs low on
Sig
shield.
fluxing, getting two, killing Hanzo and Wuyang.
Yeah, that Nano Flux, once you burn out
anti
some of those resources from the other Sigma, it puts you in a really strong forward position, and OSU definitely knows to abuse that.
We do see the Sig Hanzo ult combo, something that hasn't actually been as popular in recent years.
Yeah, I haven't seen it too often. It definitely has its places, and I mean, with Hanzo ult in particular, it's a fairly niche ult. It doesn't tend to get the value that it used to in Overwatch 1 with having the off-tank Zarya to set up a really nice combo. But it definitely has its value. I'm curious to see how they're going to use the Hanzo ult on this
In
side.
the Battle of the Hanzos, Nico pulled forward, killing JJ.
Walking through these recon arrows from Nico has definitely been getting a lot of value.
Rush coming out. We see purple land hit nobody, unfortunately.
BGC
Dragons come out, killing Forsyth.
BGC just getting pressured out here on the walk. Oh, but they bring it back
They
with two kills here. Both supports down.
It is definitely a scrappy fight from OSU.
Yeah, and with
killing Sig.
yeah,
That might
OSU
just be
keeping
the
their
final
healers
blow.
alive and killing Carnegie Mellon's healers really early here definitely gave them what they needed to be able to sit behind the shield, slow it down, just play for pressure. As long as they lived for a couple seconds, they were really able to bring it and start killing people off.
For sure. We do see ults on both sides, 3 ults for each team.
Mm-hmm.
Actually, 4 for OSU.
Yeah. OSU's coming up on a lot of good stuff. Just have to play it a little slow, get some of that cart progress. Also looking to probably...
JJ killing Wooyoung right off the bat, and that is a very heavy advantage for OSU. Starry then killing the Sig in turn. Niner having a huge overclock, getting a lot of damage in. Killing Hanzo. Genji, like, next to fall.
Mm-hmm. And that was really just a beautiful fight. I think especially looking at the comp that CMU has, they really want to be playing for this Wooyoung Blade combo of the ults that just kind of helps Genji get in and stay in. Wooyoung dying super early there to a JJ headshot really killed a lot of their chances. That was a really brilliant shot and a really brilliant early pick to find.
It was. And we do see CMU pushing up quite far without a Sig. There we go. There's their Sig. JJ half getting dove by the Genji on the off angle. Kiri healing him up.
I'm curious to see how we end up using, or how CMU ends up using that
Wooyoung
blade.
dying to Niner again. OSU running forward, capitalizing on that pick. Absolute Zero dragon blading in the back, getting 2.
2 with the blade, almost 3. Starry does get kind of pressured out, but does get their own on the enemy Sigma. Both teams kind of looking worse for wears, but with the closer spawn for BGC, they definitely will be able to recontest this first.
Yes. And they no longer have the Genji Wooyoung ult combo. So we'll be curious to see what they use that Wooyoung ult for.
Most likely would be either for just a Genji raw engage or for the Sigma once he kind of runs low on resources if they want to be going in here. Starry holding up way aggressive on this corner.
We
the dragon...
Nano Sig Dragon killing 3, 4.
Quite the ult bank expended here from really both sides, but it looks like BGC kind of gets the better of the situation here. That Nano Sig ult becoming a really strong, like, staple combo for this roster.
For sure. And we see this could be last fight with OSU not quite having ults, but almost 2 ults either side. We see a D.Va swap on the other team.
This definitely allows them to play a little bit faster here. The D.Va and the Genji can sort of play off of each other. The Hanzo Dragon here really can make a difference and sort of has to, as it's one of the only ults remaining for them.
falling out of mech.
D.Va getting pressured very heavily
Genji
by this
then
comp.
dying to Niner. Starry also killing their Hanzo. That is 2 left for CMU. Rush coming out as kind of a last-ditch effort.
Rushes from both sides here. It's scrappy for sure.
Very scrappy. And we see BGC clean up.
With time.
With time.
Over a minute, too, feels really nice on this sort of map. It's not quite as nice as something like a hybrid with a capture point. But having that sort of free time means that even if Carnegie Mellon pushes, if they do so in, say, overtime or a lower time bank, that further increases the time bank of BGC, and that feels very good.
It does. And especially we see OSU like bringing it back. I know we said signs of life before, but it seems like they've revived.
Yeah. I think they're definitely comfortable right now with this slower sort of comp. They're finding that while it was punishing to play something really fast into them, especially without that Lucio, if they could kind of match them at Carnegie Mellon's own game, there was sort of a stronger chance of making something happen and really showing that maybe it isn't your game. Maybe it's ours.
Right. It looks like we see similar poke comps coming out from both teams, but we do see a support swap on CMU's side, opting for an Ana and a Mizuki now.
Yeah. The Mizuki, I think, is definitely interesting, but the Ana makes sense to me pretty much entirely. I think it's a stronger combo with that Genji. Gives them just a very realistic win condition. Keeping on the D.Va here as well, they'll have to be careful of the rock in particular, because that can be very punishing, but otherwise allowing your Genji to sort of get space and play for a dive might end up really benefiting CMU.
Yes, and here we go, running out of spawn. Still on the D.Va. We do also see OSU matching that Sig on the high ground, as we saw.
Yeah. Definitely slow,
Nico
pokey.
getting Niner right away.
Yeah, that early pick is really punishing.
Very punishing. We see JJ trying to trade blows in turn.
Niner coming back in. BGC has kind of given up a lot of their early space here, accepting that they'd rather fight a 5v5 sort of later in on the map than take the 5v4 early, which I think is a very fine call here. Gives them sort of the angles that they need, and now with Niner back in the picture, CMU has to be a little more cautious in terms of how far
Diva
they can push the
very
card.
low along with their Genji.
A whole lot of CMU looking really low here, half or below. Very punishable, especially by these snipers. And yeah,
Niner
Nico goes
getting
down.
Hanzo, getting Diva Mech as well. Fighting the Genji on 1 health, unfortunately falls, but already got 2. Starry then getting the Mizuki.
And really just like, as long as they don't let this Genji out for free, or give this Genji a kill for free, BGC's in a really nice spot here with the baby D.Va slowing things down. The Genji does eventually die without a trade, and that puts BGC in a really nice spot where CMU has to wait a hot minute, get their mech back, get their Genji back before they can look for something.
Yes. And we do also see them both sides coming up on ults. OSU slightly closer to a lot of them.
An absolute zero here. I think they really are kind of banking on the Nano Blade as a combo, so
Dragons coming out very early.
not really pushed super heavily, but they still have that signal to stop and engage from CMU.
JJ very low, backing up, getting help from his team.
Star is able to just sort of stay in. They aren't too worried about it. And the flux comes out.
The
Oh,
flux
it
goes
misses,
out,
but
misses
the tank goes
everybody.
down anyways.
We see Purple killing Mizuki. Nico getting 2 with his dragons. Getting 3 now.
Nico dragging his
trading.
team, kicking and screaming through. But Homie Baba, with 2 on this fight, really sort of brings it back into a kind of an uncomfortable spot for CMU. The ability to touch and try and retake here is on the table, and they're going to go for it, sliding in.
Purple comes out getting Lychee right away. That is no nano. Nico trading for Niner. Diva Mech at half health and falling.
Nico's really trying to make something happen here, 2 before he finally falls. But with that, I think some of CMU's fervor to keep going on this fight is backed off, and they're going to give it and come back with this Nano Blade.
Yes. We see Nano Blade for them. We see an overclock Nano possibly for OSU.
Definitely possible. Ult's keeping pretty even here between the two teams. Nano Blade's definitely a really scary combo. It has a lot of value, and it's a little easier to work with than like a Nano overclock, but it is kind of anybody's game.
It is.
The Mizuki ult as well is, I think, going to be really good for shutting down that sort of
See
Nano
Nano
engage.
Dragon come out.
Nano
Almost
Blade-
get JJ. That Suzu was very good, but
Perfect Suzu
unfortunately
to slow
Homie
him.
falls. Absolute gets 3. Niner trades Absolute. And that is BGC falling to CMU.
Definitely a valuable Nano Blade, almost curbed by the power of that Suzu, but in the end it gets the value that they need to, and with only 2 ults, it appears that Carnegie Mellon does take the second pretty handily.
Yes, and that is an ult advantage ending with that fight for CMU.
Though with Mizuki going down here early, there's a world where BGC can really start retaking some of their space.
That's true.
Nico
See
falling
Nico half
very low
health.
too.
Oh, falling to JJ. Diva trying to contest that off angle. Unfortunately gets rocked and scattered.
Yeah. Nico's playing very well for some of these highlight reels, but JJ is also proving that he's quite capable on this character. Both of them fighting real hard to get a lot of value for their team. Try to go for the execute on a sleeping Genji, but not quite hitting the mark.
But JJ gets the Mizuki once more. That is no Mizuki ult as well.
JJ's feeling brazen, definitely ready to take these fights, even with one of the strongest showing players on this map for the enemy team and the other Hanzo.
For sure. We will see just some poke coming out.
A lot of ults, especially for the side of CMU. I'm curious to see sort of how they take some of these engages. They've already rebuilt Nano.
Oh, we see our Diva flying in, but JJ getting the other Hanzo Nico.
JJ staring
finds-
death in the face right now with a Nano Diva. Lives as long as he does, which is great, while Starry ends up trading for the backline.
And we see CMU, or actually OSU, getting out here.
BGC definitely sort of slowing it down. Their Sigma's quite split here, but if they can get themselves back together and kind of re-engage, they're going to be in a pretty good spot. Niner does fall.
Yes, we see a battle of tanks here. Nano coming out to save Starry. Shield coming up just in time to block the Diva bomb, but for Starry only, unfortunately, Forsyth falls. Nico gets homie. We see purpled onto Starry with him killing himself.
Eventually going down, but Starry did fight valiantly in the thick of it for far too long and burning quite the time bank too. CMU still having quite a strong set of ults, especially by comparison to BGC right now, but they do have to hold on to this space because time is sort of ticking down, and they still have a whole other section after this.
They do. And with only 2 minutes
Dragon
added,
coming out.
we see Dragon coming out, Nico getting JJ, Dragon's getting Forsyth.
And with those 2 early picks, I think it's really just a matter the contesting isn't really an option. It's just about burn the time bank as much as you can if you're BGC, get out or die. It's looking more like die. And bring it back for the next one. We cut down a lot of the time bank, only down to 10 seconds more than what BGC capped with, which is a really good sign for if this map does go into overtime.
Yes, we see maybe 2 more fights coming out, so it will be interesting to see how each team uses their remaining ults.
Especially the Mizuki ult. I think we've been holding on to that one for quite some time, and I'm curious to see how they want to be getting value. I think the easy answer is just into Soj ult. If they can capitalize on that. Oh, Nico with another headshot.
That might be BGC backing out.
Going for the blade here. Not even the nano blade, just sticking it. Gets antied. The cleanse slowing him down like crazy. And Absolute Zero falls with almost no value.
Starry using his ult, Mizuki ult in return to save everybody from that. Diva, half health, got healed up by the Mizuki ult.
Mizuki forced in, does get out, but that anti is huge, and BGC capitalizes beautifully on it. Yes. Holding the space down, 40 seconds remaining. CMU keeping only a nano right now, coming up on a couple ults, but BGC in the point position, in the driver's seat to hold on to this game. Both DPS ults with the nano for Sigma. I think that they're in a really good spot to not let this game go all the way.
And with 20 seconds remaining, this is possibly the last fight for CMU. Oh, we see JJ falling early to Absolute Zero. Nano Overclock coming out from OSU. Nano Diva coming out from CMU. And Dragons. Diva running in and falling in the back line.
Nano Overclock doesn't do anything too crazy, but it does trade the Diva out here. Dragons as well kind of slowing down some of the pressure from CMU, but with Forsyth dying, Niner needs to back here, see if they can live, see if they can take a proper re-engage. Ball comes out as well here, just to kind of slow things down, try and play for a late fight. Niner getting Lychee here is really big.
Huge. Especially Niner getting Mizuki as well. CMU with no supports. Niner
3
again.
for Niner.
Getting the Hanzo. Only 2 left for CMU. Purple onto the Doom. Genji dashing in, but unfortunately for CMU, that is a win.
Really great work, and we can basically hear him getting loud from the next room over. Really great stuff. We talked a bit about Niner, where playing that sort of slower comp, playing something that's a little more to his strengths, could end up being really valuable. And whilst I think the Hanzos kind of stole the show for a lot of that second portion, Niner's really still proving that he's here, he came to play, and he's getting active. The 3K at the end in overtime really helps bring this team back and equalize things at 1-1. We're going all the way.
We are going all the way for a third map.
Whoever
wins this wins the tournament, or wins the game.
And I mean, we talked a bit after the first map about signs of life for BGC. Definitely not the, definitely a little bit of a scathing indictment of the situation where there were opportunities to succeed, but not all followed up on. This map looked much better for them. They looked like they were in control a lot more of the time, even when they were losing fights. It was rare that there were situations where they felt that they were going into something with like a crazy ult disadvantage or a crazy positioning disadvantage that would punish them. And so I think they really played this style much better, and I'm really excited to see both the bans and the map to see kind of how we take this, if we're going to keep playing kind of this slower comp, and if the bans are going to work around that, or if the bans are going to keep going around these faster characters and forcing people onto the Sigma comp.
Right. I think it is very map dependent. CMU does get to choose the map, which will heavily influence the bans.
That will, but I think also they've shown that they want to be playing that same style of comp. So I think there could be sort of a crisis of faith of understanding, like, this is our thing, but it's clear that we're also kind of even in that segment. So I'm excited to kind of see what that means.
Yes, I am as well. Especially we're getting subs as well before the map choice, which is not very common. Normally you want to see what map you're running before you put in comment.
Well, but this is also a sub for Carnegie Mellon, so they have kind of the time to make that choice.
That's true.
Looks like they're switching out their flex supporter, at least one of their support players, Lychee, in for a different player, as well as Rio.
For Rio.
Yeah. Yeah. So definitely a bit of a roster switch. This could herald sort of a faster comp coming out, something that they weren't thinking of playing for this first 2 maps, but if they wanted something a little bit faster, keeping Zero in, who stayed on Genji pretty handily through that series, I think kind of leans more in the direction that we've shown the BGC side of the faster comp. Now it's their turn to kind of bring it out for this closing map.
Yes, for Suravat. Oh, maybe not actually. Maybe being changed. We will see.
Suravasa, though, if it does end up going through, I think is a good map for something faster. It's a little harder to play slow and play those longer sight lines with a lot of like short high grounds, close corners.
Yes.
Definitely like ways in for a comp that wants to get in.
Right. I am curious as well. CMU did ban Vendetta last map, which means Vendetta can no longer be banned.
Yeah.
So I'm wondering if possibly they might be doing like a Zarya ban or something to prevent OSU's faster comp that we've seen them on.
Yeah, I think the smart ban for them, if they don't want OSU to play this fast comp that they're comfortable on, would definitely be the Zarya. That's kind of the second feature of that duo. I've referred to them in some coaching sessions with some of the players as like the Shaq and Kobe duo, where it's a lot of the pressure and a lot of like the other members of the squad are really there to apply resources and help to that primary duo, where a lot of the damage and a lot of the frontline like space taking pressure comes out.
Right. We see Atlas, similar to Suravasa, but a little more different. There's a lot more high ground on Atlas.
Yeah, a lot of very interesting angles on Atlas. I think most of the maps, they have kind of a weird split of either very long sight lines or a lot of like really close little buildings and little bits of cover. So it's sort of a harder map to draft around than something like Havana, where you kind of have the clear-cut notion of what you're going to be looking at.
Yes.
But it definitely, I think, favors the scrappy. So I'm kind of excited to see who they ban and then like what these teams come out with.
We do see OSU swapping their tank to Terabyte, known more as OSU's kind of
You've done well,
rush
Starry.
tank. Starry carrying them through.
Starry definitely looking very
Yes.
confident on the Sigma, really just doing exactly what's needed, staying in, living way longer in some cases than you'd even expect. But now, especially, I think with this faster comp, that's definitely more Terra's wheelhouse, playing some of these brawls, some of these dives. So I'm pretty excited to see what that ends up meaning.
Yes, I'm excited to see the bans. Oh, we might actually be getting some information about it now. CMU does get first ban, and they do ban the Zarya.
A very smart pick, in my
Yes.
opinion, in terms of negating the other half of that combo. OSU comes back with a ban on Genji.
Oh,
I do think that's actually a really fair ban. OSU hasn't tended to favor Genji quite as much in some of their faster compositions, and I think especially seeing Absolute Zero pretty much exclusively run Genji on
That
that
is
last
true.
map, it definitely felt like a pocket pick for them, and one that I think OSU is trying to exploit.
yes. I agree, actually. Genji is a very good ban, especially because Absolute Zero it has remained in, and now that bans are up, there can be no more roster swaps.
Yeah.
So,
I think a little bit of discomfort, likely from both rosters here, is the pointed bans at the very end of this series. Now that they've kind of seen how each other play, I think we're really getting into some scraps.
we are. It will be a very exciting match to see both teams kind of getting, kicked off of their probably
normal
more
picks.
comfortable comps.
Yeah.
And here we go, running into Atlas. See what they run in about 20 seconds. If anybody's unfamiliar with Flashpoint, it is 5 points, first to 3 wins.
We start in the very middle of the map, and then it's random as to which map gets to be the next one.
And along with this, Lucio is almost a guaranteed pick on Flashpoint. It is very hard to run around all 5 points without a fast character like Lucio, which we haven't seen CMU play yet.
Yeah, and it kind of looks like we're still going to see the same sort of thing. Lucio not really getting a whole lot of value on Havana and being banned on the map prior. I think Homie finally kind of gets to be on his comfort pick here.
Yes.
And I'm excited to see that. Looking with about 10 seconds left, rosters can still be swapped around, but it's looking like sort of a still pretty heavy engaged with this Vendetta on top of a hazard dive.
Yes, we see Rio not actually choosing a character, possibly...
Here we go.
Here we go, Reaper.
Yeah, they seem to like this Reaper Ramatra comp. I'm kind of curious about it. It definitely has a lot of all-in pressure, but it might burn out a little bit. Without that much poke, Niner could have kind of a field day here with Soj on an off angle.
And we see since BGC does have that Lucio, they're able to get to the point first, not give CMU as much poke opportunity for space.
Yeah, and another kind of like undervalued feature is CMU has to worry about this wall from the hazard, splitting them off, sort of like the OG May
JJ
wall.
getting Rio already, going all in. Suzu coming out, getting Chaewon, getting Fervent. No supports for CMU, but them trading out.
3 kills for JJ there, and I mean, he just said, yeah, you guys have a close range in your face comp. I can play that just as well.
Yes.
Absolute Zero getting pressured here really heavily on the on-run. Niner has to live. He does back out, letting Absolute Zero live, but that was close to being a really late pick.
Yes. Very, very close for both teams. We see OSU giving some space here for some reason.
OSU definitely doesn't mind giving them the space. With the on-run Reaper, they don't have a whole lot of range on Carnegie Mellon, and I think that plays to OSU's strength where they can play a little bit slower, let Niner
Absolute
pop
Zero
off.
getting Forsyth already. Canada getting getting JJ and Chaewon getting Homie. That is 3 falling for OSU.
Yeah, OSU
And point flip.
giving up the space, but not really getting back in there and making something happen until it's too late. They do allow the flip, coming close on ults for both sides here, but nothing quite yet. Homie's been building up a fast beat, and that might be
Very
something that can
fast
catch
beat.
them a little off guard.
Yes. I know Homie is a lover of the tempo beats, just running in, not particularly using it for any ultimate.
JJ running low, but-
very low. Fortunately being healed up, going in.
Now, without the Zarya in particular, JJ has to be much more careful about how he chooses to play, burning through a lot of his block really early here. The ult's building for Carnegie. JJ flying in now once again, really looking for something. The Wraith is
Tara
forced.
wrapping around, cutting off their tank. Tank falling, Homie then falling in turn. Niner falling as well. Forsyth, JJ trading for the Reaper though.
It's a scrappy battle here going on. JJ trying to get a flip, goes for the ult here, but dies before he can release it, and that looks like it's probably going to be point for Carnegie Mellon. Tara doing what he can to hold on, trying to play slow here. They do come back in with the TP.
On half. Reaper using Wraith. Niner coming back with ultimate,
Oh my
getting
goodness.
Fervor. Tara getting Rio.
Yeah, and we talk about that
Tara
tempo beat. We
falling,
use it
but-
for survival here. Follow it up with that Soj overclock, and this is looking a lot more winnable for OSU.
Yes, we see Niner getting 2 with Disruptor Shot.
Clearly quite happy about it, too, by the movement of his mouse. Really good way to get back into this fight. Tara and JJ stalling for everything that they're worth here. They still now have to fight back against 3 ults here with 2 of their own.
Yes.
Definitely possible for either roster here, but
It
they
is.
could be overwhelmed with the ult economy of CMU.
For sure.
Going for the under push instead, just trying to get this point touch, try and pressure somebody out.
Under is interesting. Hazard ult come out, get no one.
Hazard ult
Oh,
with
actually
wall.
getting Ram. We see Suzu and Ram, Reaper ult, CMU popping all 3 ultimates at once, getting 2 people, getting 3, 4, and 5.
The double kill with the on-run immortality as well.
Yes. And that is first point CMU, but there's no ults on their side anymore.
Yeah, and BGC coming back here, they do only have 1 ult, but it is Curie Rush, which is great for building other ultimates as well. So having that in the pocket definitely does feel good for this first contest. the advantage to Carnegie just comes from already having the space that they have.
Yes. We're looking probably OSU to go fast here.
Yeah, but Carnegie
coming
Mellon
out with
already in.
Rush.
Ram going deep here, getting walled off to really low. Can they keep him alive? Niner flying in on the off angle.
Getting Chaewon half, Chaewon forced to retreat. Niner getting pushed out by Reaper. Terra getting Chaewon. Beat coming out from Homie. Does not manage to keep Niner or Forsyth alive, but quite a scrappy fight here.
Yeah, those two huge picks kind of early-ish really pressured out. The on-run ult coming out late here is sort of a misplay from Carnegie Mellon. Might have not been needed and could have been really valuable for this next upcoming fight. All of that fight just for the coin or the map flip. Now the percentage just starting to kind of accrue for Carnegie Mellon. They have to be ready to come back into things with pretty limited ults on both sides.
Yes, we see 3 coming up for OSU, but not quite. They will have to poke just to get those ults a little bit.
JJ, I think, being a little uncomfortable trying to find value on this Vendetta without some of the value. Niner getting Wuyong so low, just barely
Reaper
gets
getting
out.
Homie right off the bat. And Kenneter getting Terabyte. It looks like CMU might just be cleaning up, but Forsyth with a very good pick onto the Ram.
That is a fantastic late pick, and without the speed for many characters from Carnegie Mellon, Ram might not be able to be back in by the time it matters. JJ coming in fast with this ultimate.
Yes, we do also see a hazard ult. I think it did possibly get the Kiri, which Terra did run in and capitalize on. With point being flipped for OSU.
But Terra dying here so early as well probably pushed up just past the abilities of his supports. It's a scrappy back and forth. JJ kind of equalizing against Rio here.
Reaper ult came out, got nobody. JJ now getting 2. Niner popping overclock. Does force them back, but doesn't secure any kills.
Yeah, a lot of DPS ults in particular kind of being thrown to the wolves throughout this point. CMU able to come back in with this rush could put a lot of pressure on BGC, who's currently without ults.
Yes, Homie needs to charge his beat and fast in order.
And he's getting there pretty quick. The ult is kiteable, but a trade out comes out between the Onron and the Vendetta.
Yes, we see Reaper run in with no more cooldowns to survive.
Homie coming up on beat in just 1 second, plays for the life. Does he use it? No, he looks to fall, just lets them get the flip here. I think that's a fine play given that he got it so late into that Ramatra and with somebody down already.
Yes. We see OSU kind of giving it, not without a fight, but...
Yeah, I think unfortunately for OSU, the point is just a little too late in its percentage to be able to be touched and be capitalized on. So if BGC wants to win this, they're going to have to reverse sweep this map.
Yes, it will be interesting to see what Homie uses his beat for now that there's not too much, possibly Onron.
I would say Onron ult or even potentially the Wuyong ult or some combination of the two definitely could be slowed down heavily by the use of this beat. JJ
Vendetta
flying
going
in
getting
to a room.
Onron, having to use her immortality very early. Reaper then killing Vendetta. Fighting in a very closed room with the Reaper is not exactly what you want.
And Rio
With
is doing a
CMU
really good
taking
job.
3, 4,
Yeah.
and 5.
That's the fight out. Rio doing a really good job on Reaper here of hiding in some of these corners, letting JJ walk through, blitz through with like the Vendetta cooldowns, and then really just try and punish her, especially without that bubble because of the Zarya ban.
We do see a lot of ults coming up on OSU's side with almost 4 now. It'll be interesting to see how they use it.
Ramatra in deep here.
because We see Wuyong ult coming out, getting Homie. A
Homie dying
very
here
fast
without
ult.
beat
JJ
too.
trading for Chaewon. Terabyte getting Rio Absolute, getting 2. Still having their ult as well, either for res or to fight. JJ trading out supports. Still fighting, hanging on for his life.
I mean, a Vendetta is one of the best characters you could ask for in something of a clutch. Homie going for the beat, trying to save the remainder of his team, but it doesn't look like they're able to get that kind of value, and that puts OSU in a really bad spot here with the point ticking away very heavily for Carnegie Mellon.
We see Niner coming out with an overclock very early, actually getting the on-run. Curious to see if she... Oh, she did actually use her ult already. We see Canada coming out with his Ramatra ult.
Scrappy
and JJ
trades
getting
here across the
Chaewon,
board.
getting
JJ with
Fervent
two.
too. CMU having no supports.
OSU
CMU
also
trading
now with no
OSU's
supports. It's basically just down to JJ versus this tank. Luckily, there's almost no better character for it than the Vendetta. Gets his, but unfortunately dies in the process. Terabyte now coming back here with the ult as well.
Yes, we see reinforcements coming in. Rio killing Niner. It's Terabyte versus the world.
It's the tank standard. Getting pressured out here. Has to use that Nemesis form with the ult now.
Yes. This could very well be final fight if OSU does not bring it back. Terabyte does fall. We see Kennedy swapping to Doom.
Oh, and without the
Two
touch,
falling.
a handy 3-0 for the CMU Catboys.
Yes. And that will be CMU's game with 2-1.
Definitely a close scrap. I think CMU found that if they were able to punish this sort of Zarya Vendetta duo, they were able to get a lot of value off, and I think that really took some of the wind out of BGC's sails.
Yes, for sure. I would have loved to see BGC be a little faster, especially with that Lucio and CMU not having that.
I think BGC, a lot of like the later fights, especially on this last map, really kind of boiled down to just not really being on the same page, people going in, getting split, dying, or just a lot of different scrappy sort of 1v1s across the map. And I think that ended up being really hard for them to come back from.
Yes.
With a lot of ults going 1-for-1 and things like that. Or people dying without trades. I think without those sorts of combined 5v5 engages, which was sort of the same problem that they had on this first map, they really sort of gassed out a little bit too early.
They did. Yes, and I think even without that Lucio, CMU was able to play quite fast. They were able to hide around corners and kind of surprise attack OSU.
Yeah,
So.
I think they definitely felt really comfortable playing off of this Zarya Vendetta combo, and with it being two characters in particular that are kind of really integral to how that comp works, it just unfortunately means that you can be banned out a lot harder.
Yes.
Which I think was quite punishing.
Yes, CMU's bans were very good throughout.
I think good bans for both teams pretty much throughout. I think they definitely knew what they were going up against, and especially after seeing some of the strengths and weaknesses of both rosters, I think they were really going for each other's throats.
Yes, it was a very close game. I will say OSU did pull back in that second map, and it was down to the wire.
Yeah, quite evenly matched. It would be really interesting to see how this would play out in like a longer series of perhaps a best of three, potentially in the future. But definitely a well thought map, well thought series really from both teams. Unfortunately, BGC didn't quite pull it through, but I think they should definitely be able to pat themselves on the back for their performance.
I think so too.
Yeah.
Awesome. Thank you all for joining us.
Yep, that's all the Overwatch we have for you. Have a good one.